You might have seen Biden's speech at the weekend in which he declared he wants to see the end of Putin in power. Well, another thing that he did was to invoke the similarities between the war now and World War II. In fact, he said, of all the people, you, the Russian people, as well as all the people across Europe, still have the memory of being in a similar situation in the 1930s and 40s. The situation of World War II, still fresh in the mind of many grandparents in the region. So he's drawing some similarities, and some people have asked me to see if there are any similarities, in fact, whether they are the same or not. So I'm going to do a couple of short videos to see if that's the case. One of the things that you'll hear from leaders of the aggressors is their feeling that they have no choice but to launch their war or invasion. And Putin is no different. On the 24th of February, he told business leaders that he felt that he had no other option but to order what he calls the special military operation in Ukraine. That he tried the diplomatic options to diffuse what he called the threat from NATO on its border, and the fact that he wanted to make the Donbass and Luhansk parts of Ukraine part of Russia. So if we go back to World War II and think of the Japanese, they were of a similar mindset. They may have used the words, "we have no choice," but certainly that was a view. Felt very marginalised from the world, the League of Nations, they had sanctions, etc. And it was on that basis that they then launched the attack on Pearl Harbor because they couldn't get the oil for their imperial expansion around Asia. Prime Minister Tojo at the time said, "Our empire stands at the threshold of glory or oblivion." Japan continued to militarise, looking towards Germany as its inspiration for an economy that seemed to be holding it all together and doing quite well at the time. And within a week of that speech, Japan had attacked Pearl Harbor. So turning to Hitler, we all now know about his imperial ambitions. The Treaty of Versailles had seriously damaged the German economy after World War I, and he felt personally insulted by it and sought to change that when he invaded Paris. Also on the minds of the Third Reich were additional lands to the east of Germany to living spaces, what they called them. In one of his speeches in 1945, he said, "Our nation's struggle for existence forces us to utilize all means, even within Reich territory, to weaken the fighting power of our enemy and prevent further advances." Again, you can hear the word existence, struggle for existence. So what's common between all three are victim mentality. In fact, they all claim that they have no choice to do what they do, but actually that's not true at all, because choice can never be taken away. Choice is always made, even if you do nothing. And in all three of those instances, a choice was made to start a war and an invasion. Don't just take my word for it. Viktor Frankl, Mankind's Search for Meaning, survivor of a Nazi concentration camp in the Second World War, wrote a very famous book, and he said that they could take everything away except for one thing, and that was the freedom to choose. So the trick now for the world is to see whether the sanctions genuinely force Russia into a position where it feels like it has no choice, because if you have a cornered animal, that's when they attack. So that's the thing to look out for. So there's one parallel. We have no choice. Whenever you see that, that's a warning sign.